Most people believe their marriage problem comes from their spouse, their behavior, their attitude, their issues. But here's the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to hear. Your marriage will never outgrow who you are. This is why the R in the grace framework, renew yourself, the R stand for renew yourself. That's why it is so critical. It's the stage most couples skip. And the exact reason so many marriages stay stuck in the same painful cycle. Now, I want to talk to you why personal growth matters. Because personal growth, it is not optional, it is essential. And see, because God designed marriage in such a way that who you are determines the marriage. Your childhood experiences, the relationship that you've been in, daddy drama, mama drama, all walk down the aisle with you. You didn't marry potential. You marry as is. Who they are is what you get. And then they show up in your marriage whether you acknowledge them or not. These trauma I'm talking about, these issues, these bad habits, these, broken moral codes and conducts and all these things. So many couples are fighting each other when the real fight is within. Now, let's look at God's blueprint for marriage. Let's look at God's blueprint for personal growth and development, because that's what the E stand for, renew yourself, personal growth and personal development. God took the man that he created in Genesis chapter 2 and verse 15. It tells us that God took the man he created and he put him in the garden. This happens before Eve, before marriage, before partnership. You see, my friend, God was developing Adam's identity. He was allowing Adam to understand purpose, discipleship, before introducing him to a wife. And why? Because God knew if they grew together, if he created them together prematurely, they would depend on each other more than they depend on him. They would think their growth came from one another instead of from God. And so God put Adam in a place of development first. Are you in a place of development? Are you growing? Are you changing? Are you becoming? You see, my friend, most people enter marriage without the developmental stage. Most people enter marriage without developing who they really are, without knowing God and having a relationship with God. We enter broken, we enter wounded, we enter with insecurity, we enter with trauma, we enter with blind spots. Come on, talk to me. We enter with emotional immaturity. This isn't condemnation. I'm not condemning anyone. This is the reality. It is my reality. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it in the next few minutes. And then we wonder. Oh, yes, we do wonder why our marriage is so jacked up, why it is failing. Why can't we be consistent with growth? I got married when I was 23 years old. I'm going back 31 years ago. Hello. I got married at 23. I've been married for 31 years. I didn't know what it is to be a husband. I didn't have the blueprint and the template from a father exactly how to love and to treat my wife. I did not know anything about personal growth. I wasn't raised with my father. He was never in my life. I never had a role model of real manhood growing up. I never had a blueprint for marriage. I carried trauma. I carried insecurity. I carried emotional wounds. I carried pain from being bullied as a child growing up in school. And growing up with 5 sisters and arguing with them when I was much younger did not help the situation. Can you imagine one brother among 5 sisters? That was a war zone, my friends. Hello? Are you listening to me? And all of it, every part of it walked into the marriage with me. I was struggling with my life, struggling with my emotion, struggling spiritually, struggling as a husband, struggling to love my wife the right way. And here is the truth I had to face. My marriage wasn't broken. I was. I was just a member in one of God's finest institution on earth, and I violated my membership based on how I showed up in my marriage. And here's the reality that I want you to understand. And everything started to change the moment I stopped blaming my circumstances and start looking in the mirror. And here is why so many marriages suffer. Most people avoid the inner work. Yes. They make excuses. They blame their spouse. They avoid responsibility. They run from reflection. Yeah, they're hiding from the mirror. They refuse therapy. They reject coaching. They hide behind spiritual cliches, but never actually do the work. But I want you to listen to me carefully and clearly. God is the source of healing, but he uses resources. He uses biblical sound counselors. He uses teaching like this as a resource to lead you back to him who is the source of healing, using coaches and using pastors and mentors and using accountability partners and using community, because I do believe that healing happens in community, not in isolation. It's one of the things that we teach in our coaching program. These are tools, not replacement of God himself. They help you to understand you so God can restore you. And my friend, if you want to understand your marriage, look in the mirror. The relationship that you have with your spouse, it is a reflection of the relationship that you have with yourself. Your marriage will never outgrow who you are. That's reality. Wounded? You love from a wounded place. Insecure? You'll communicate from insecurity. Immature? Oh yes, and majority of you are. You'll argue immaturely. Prideful? You defend pridefully. Emotionally unavailable? Oh yes. You shut down when connection matters the most. See, your marriage is a mirror of you and a mirror of your spouse. Wherever you go, there you go. And there goes your marriage. I mean, come on, guys. Can we just be real about this? Can we be honest and be transparent with the reality that the R in the grace framework is one of the areas that we have missed because we got hyped up about the emotional connection of marriage, and and I'm going to cover about the relational equity and all those things in another video. But for this one, we're talking about you. We're talking about growth. We're talking about why you can't ignore it anymore, and you need to lean in and become conscious of the fact that you are who you are. And this is why personal growth is the second step of the grace framework. Why? Because God focused on it with Adam. That's the second thing he did. The first thing God did in the G is God built a relationship with Adam, which means that your spiritual life is the most important part of your life. And then the second part is that God allowed him to develop into the man that he needed to become. Are you the man? Are you the woman? Are you the husband? Are you the wife that you need to become? God didn't give Adam a spouse until Adam had grown into who he really needed to be. Until Adam had identity. Until Adam had purpose. Until Adam had responsibility. Until Adam had discipline and discipleship. Until Adam had structure. Until Adam had a relationship with God. Marriage is not supposed to complete you. It reveals who you are. Oh yes. I've often maintained that when you get married, you marry 4 people. The person you date, the person you court, the person you marry, and the person they're going to become because of marrying you. Can you honestly say that your spouse is better off because of you? Are you the kind of spouse that you would love coming home to? Are you the kind of spouse that they can't wait for you to come home? Most marital frustration comes from internal frustration. Most relational pain comes from personal pain. Most communication issues, my friend, it comes from emotional issue. Most intimacy issue comes from identity issue, the lack thereof. When you lose yourself, you lose clarity. When you lose direction, you lose emotional grounding. And yes, you lose connection in your marriage. Your marriage cannot survive if you have abandoned yourself. I'm just going to be real about it, because we were just walking around like crazy people, don't know who we are. Like zombies. In again, out again, on again, off again. One day you want this marriage, the next day you don't. It's all about your emotions and your feelings. You are so emotionally exhausted that you don't even know what real feelings feels like. When you renew yourself, you really renew yourself. Did you get that? When you grow emotionally, when you grow spiritually, mentally, when you grow maturity, you elevate your level of maturity, your matureness. You grow in character. You grow in self-awareness. Everything changes. You know, I've often said that when the tide rises, all ship rise. Oh yeah, whether you're a towboat, a rowboat, a tugboat, a cruise ship, I don't care what you are, a canoe, when the tide rises, all ship rise. Why? Because when you elevate yourself, everything around you elevates too. Your communication changes when you grow. Your patience changes when you grow. Your leadership changes when you grow. Your reaction changes when you grow. Your compassion changes when you grow. Your ability to love changes when you grow, because you change, everything around you change. This is kingdom. This is God's blueprint. This is the path to breakthrough. This is the R in the grace framework. I want to ask you the question. When God said it was not good for man to be alone, God put Adam to sleep, and he took a rib from Adam and he created the woman from the man, and then he presented the woman to the man. What kind of man did God presented Eve to? God presented Eve to a man who was holy. God presented Eve to a man who was righteous. God presented Eve to a man who was in the presence of God. He was innovative. He was a builder. He was a cultivator. He was a protector. He was a lover. He was a friend. He was a priest. He was relationally sound. He was emotionally sound. He was everything that a woman desires a man to be. That's the kind of man that God presented Eve to. And that's where growth took place. God wanted Eve to experience his best. What kind of woman did God presented Adam to? God presented Adam to a woman who was holy, righteous, who had purpose, had destiny, understand her feminine power and her feminine energy, coming alongside her husband and helping him to become who God have called him to be. I am talking about two people that knows how to synchronize together, create the love and the rhythm of love and marriage. They were never fighting and trying to be the boss over each other. They just learned how to serve. And you know, my friends, if this message spoke to you today, I want you to do me a favor, because I'm about to land this plane. Drop a comment below and tell me one area of personal growth you are committed to this week. And if you're serious about transforming your marriage, I want you to subscribe to this YouTube channel, subscribe to this podcast. Yes. And we are walking you through the entire grace framework together. Let's do this. And we're going to cover another section in the next video. That is the A. The A. Agree to honor the covenant of marriage. Let's grow together. Let's build together. Let's create a culture, a community here that we serve and love and honor our spouse the way God wants us to. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And if this bless you, I want you to Go back and look at the G in grace. That's definitely going to get you fired up and get you started. Thank you so much again. God bless you. And I hope to see you in the next one. Ain't it great?